Welcome back to the Anytime Sports Podcast Show. I'm Colin. I'm here with Andrew. Say something, Andrew.
Let's go. And, Colin, you were right. Velus Jones is absolutely dog crap.
I didn't know if you wanted to lead off
We're
with
going
that,
right
but
into it.
I guess we could talk a little bit about the Thursday night football game then. The Bears lost to the Washington Redskins 12-7. Our Bears did not do very well. Let's just get your thoughts on the game. I'm gonna ask for an emotional Bears fan point of view, and I know we're both emotional Bears fans, but I'm gonna try to tone it back, and I'm gonna look at the game. I'll come at a perspective that's not an emotional Bears fan, and you'll come at as an emotional Bears fan. Okay?
Yeah.
What were your thoughts as a very emotional Bears fan? I know we both were the same way, but what were your thoughts watching that Thursday night football game?
It's just painful, dude. Watching this team come together, all these young guys you have on the team. Roquan, he's showing he's coming out and playing besides where he got shoved by Wentz. And they're not paying the man. Come on. We need to play football. Velus Jones, terrible draft pick. Bright side of the team, Jaquan Brisker in the backfield of our defense. That's it. Justin Fields can't read a play. He can't read a pass. He missed Ryan Griffin wide open in the end zone. We can't let up these silly plays like last week. We had Amir Smith-Marset sell the game for us. We had two games that were we were on the game-winning drive and we sold it. I mean, there's just these small details that need to come together for this team to be good, but they're not coming together. And then I don't know if Justin Fields is going to be here next year. We'll see what has to happen there. But
That's a very interesting take, and I agree with it in the sense that I was very emotional last night looking at this game. I'm like, half these guys, our offensive line sucks. We didn't do anything to fix that. We barely gave Fields any weapons. And Fields did not look good at all. As they said in the Thursday Night Football broadcast, he's held the ball for more times this year, or for more amount of seconds than any other quarterback in the NFL. And he just hesitates. He doesn't have that gunslinger type mentality that guys like say Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes. I'd even say Jameis Winston as that gunslinger. Yes, that gunslinger may be a little bit less accurate, but he's not afraid to air the ball out there. And I think the best that Chicago's had at quarterback, Jay Cutler, he was not afraid to throw the ball downfield. So I think you just he needs to go through a little bit more of a progression, and I don't like what I'm seeing from Fields right now. I do agree with you on the fact that Roquan looked absolutely phenomenal last night, other than getting blocked by Carson Wentz, which was funny to watch.
yeah.
But definitely they need to pay him. He is an integral part of that defense. It was nice to see Jalen Johnson back. I know Terry McLaurin, he slipped up a little bit in not Terry, but Jalen Johnson slipped a little bit, let Terry McLaurin get a nice couple plays in there. But Terry McLaurin looked good for Washington. They got him on a lot of jet sweeps last night, so that was a main part of their offense. Carson Wentz looked injured. He injured his arm, and then he injured his hand during the game. So I think he was looking a little bit out of sync there. Couldn't really do much. But Brian Robinson, how about that story? Coming off of getting shot in the leg from a carjacking, coming back to scoring his first NFL touchdown. I think that deserves a round of applause.
Yeah, respect to him.
And respect to him. It's more than just a game of football. There's people who play these games, and we're glad that he made a full recovery, and he got in the end zone. He got a touchdown. Congratulations to him. And how about this Washington team? What was their key to success Thursday?
Really, their key to success, I'd say, is a sloppy Bears team. That was a terrible Thursday night game. Two terrible Thursday night games in a row, actually. God-awful game. Both teams played like garbage. Just the fact that the Washington Commanders put together the little bit more drives, and they actually mainly the big thing was scoring in the red zone, because the Bears had two opportunities. I think I saw somewhere that had 28 possible points they could have scored, which none of them converted. But they were in the red zone after that long Khalil Herbert run. They were on the 5-yard line and couldn't even convert a field goal. They went for it on 4th down and missed it. They went down to the red zone another time and missed that as well. So you need to convert those. You need to. Our red zone, Bears red zone offense is absolutely god awful.
They capitalized on what the Bears couldn't do with those turnovers and the field positions that the Bears had, and not scoring on that 1-yard line too, and not scoring at the end of regulation. Those are things that hurt, and I think The Washington defense that's a good defense right there. Great defensive line. That defensive line was giving Justin Fields a lot of hell last night. They got a decent secondary. Washington. I mean, their defense played very very solid, but I also think it was a combination of the Bears not having a great enough offense, but they weren't moving the ball as much. The Bears outrushed Washington by over 100 yards and held them to under 90 yards passing, but they still lost the game. They are the 20th team to do that since 19, 1935 to accomplish that. So, I mean, this was just a fluke game that Washington took in consideration when they got the ball back with great field position. They were able to make Chicago pay, and Chicago, the other hand, did not use well. They were not well in the red zone, like you were talking about, Andrew. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
you got to be proficient in the red zone, and that's what separates decent teams with great teams. You look at another team with a great example of that, the Broncos. The Broncos are very bad in the red zone right now. They're almost dead last in the red zone. They got a lot of offensive power. They just need to figure out how to score. And I think that's more of a coaching issue because they have all the talent there. It's just more of a coaching issue. Whereas in Chicago, I think it's a lack of talent, not of a lack of coaching. I think their coaching is all right, and I didn't mind the play calling by the offensive coordinator Luke Getsy, right?
Yeah.
That's his name. Uh, I didn't mind his play calling last night for the Bears. They were able to move the ball downfield. They were just not able to punch it in the red zone, and some of that I have to blame on Fields. I mean, Fields really didn't do a good job reading plays at the red zone. I mean, he missed a wide open to the right hand side. The play where it was batted up into the air and intercepted, wide open to the right hand side. He had number 18.
Yep.
He could have got a touchdown. I forget his name.
Dante
There's
Pettis.
Dante Pettis.
Yeah.
There's so many Bears wide receivers that you don't know played
Yeah.
wide receiver until they play because wide receivers go to Chicago where they end their career because there's nobody else who wants.
Exactly.
It's the stat truth. As a Bears fan, but it's hopefully we can get that turned around. It was an interesting game last night. But congratulations to Washington. I think let's transition into some NFL news. You got a little bit for us, Andrew?
Yep, this one actually recently came out. The NFL fines Buccaneers Tom Brady $11,139 for kicking Falcons Grady Garrett on roughing the passer play. We all know the famous roughing the passer play that happened this past weekend. It was Tom Brady got sacked, just a regular
He got
routine
sacked.
sack, regular
Oh
routine
my
sack.
God. It was a sack. It
A
was
routine
not
sack.
not roughing the passer. It was a sack.
Roger
I
Goodell-
think we could all agree on that.
Roger Goodell probably called him up real quick. He's like, "Hey guys, give him a roughing the passer call right now. That's my baby, Tom Brady. He's my moneymaker." No, you don't call roughing the passer on that. And Tom Brady got fined for that. He had no control. I guess he kicked the guy after the play, but whatever. That's like pocket change for Tom Brady. 11 grand, that's nothing.
Very much so. It is very much pocket change for him. Well, he's going through a divorce right now, so I don't know how much it is pocket change wise. But the Browns trading for Falcons linebacker Deion Jones. What are your thoughts about this?
I mean, they need help on that defense, so really whatever.
I like Deion Jones a lot.
Yeah.
I really do. I think he's like a top 15 linebacker in
Yeah.
the league. I think he's been very good for a long time. And I think if you bring him on the Browns, they get better. Of course, you got Myles Garrett, Denzel Ward there. You got some guys. Clowney, I believe. I mean, they got some guys that can rush the passer and do a lot. This just helps with their linebacker situation. And the teams swapped draft picks in the 2024 draft. I don't know what that means. I don't know which round.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly which round they did, but in other news, the Panthers fired head coach Matt Rule. What are your thoughts on Matt Rule getting fired from the Panthers?
I mean, I don't know if we went over this last week, but we'll go over it again. Yeah, most definitely the time. We were saying it in an episode at the end of the last season. We're like, okay, he was one of our top coaches to get fired. We're like Nagy and whoever the Broncos coach was at that time. All those guys got fired. Same with Mike Zimmer from the Vikings. And then finally, Matt Rule got fired. It should have been in the offseason. They could have had time to develop a new coach. I mean, already it's week 4 or week 5 and you fire your coach. And then you're going to have a temporary coach for the rest of the season. You should have just gone out, picked a coach, and then developed them through the offseason. They could start fresh in the beginning of the season. But that's on the Panthers.
I agree with some of your statement where they should have fired him this off season.
Yeah.
I believe they should have fired him this off season, but I don't agree with this statement that they need to keep the guy around for the rest of the year to help look. I don't like that because players lose motivation quickly, and if players aren't stupid, and when organizations don't fire the guy, they're kind of wasting their time there, and they're like, hey, let me get a guy that's decent in here, or a guy that we can believe in and fight for. And of course it ran out for Matt Rule because he didn't have any motivation anymore. That team did not look very good, even though you have some decent guys on that team. You have DJ Moore, you have CMC, Brian Burns, you have oh my gosh, I'm forgetting the safety's name. What what's SIU?
Jeremy Chin.
Jeremy Chin. Thank you. Oh my gosh, I had a brain right there. But there's just you have some talent there. It's the matter of coaching, and I think it was definitely time to move on from him. I think it was a nice decision. An interim head coach is taking over for him, and I think it's not bad. And Baker, another news with the
Panthers.
Panthers, Baker Mayfield is expected to miss some time after suffering a high ankle sprain. So who will take over? Is that
PJ Walker.
Sam Darnold? PJ
Sam
Walker?
Darnold is on the IR, so PJ Walker will take over. The guy
PJ
last
Walker will
year,
take
when the Panthers were having the kicking dilemma, when their kicker was hurt, and I think their punter was hurt, so their quarterback was kicking. Remember that last year?
Yeah.
And then another piece of news.
How about a little bit of rumor? And we'll stay with the Panthers here. Teams have been reaching out for interest in some players. Which players do you think you could see the Panthers removing, trading away? But who will they trade to?
I mean, I saw multiple reports. Panthers are like, okay, we'll do a fresh rebuild now. We don't have a coach. We have Baker. We'll probably get a drafted quarterback in the offseason. We'll tank for first-round draft pick, whatever. We'll tank for the first overall draft pick, whatever. But I think they're saying they want to go all out. So DJ Moore, that's one of the top guys on the list. I'd say bring him to a team that needs a receiver, such as the Ravens, obviously, or the Bears, who I don't know if he'd want to go there, but give him the right price, he'll want to go. Darnell Mooney's not a wide receiver one, so you bring a guy in like DJ Moore. That's a very big help to that team. Another guy that I could see going somewhere is Christian McCaffrey. He's got potential. He's been injured. He's been on the Panthers forever. But this guy can go to another team and succeed really good. Really, I saw reports for Buffalo, which I don't know. They're going to have to give up.
That's what I was about to say.
They're going to have to give up a lot of picks for that.
I was going to say that CMC's likely destination, in my opinion, is either Buffalo or it's going to be Kansas City. Those are my two most pristine options. DJ Moore, I like him going to Kansas City. I don't see him going to Buffalo. I see him in Kansas City. I think Kansas City makes a trade, and I don't know. I wouldn't trade. If I'm the Panthers, DJ Moore's still young. I would keep him around. But I would definitely ship off CMC, maybe get some picks for him because of his injury proneness and stuff like that. But I'd really move on from him, and who knows? Do you want to go into the Raiders news?
Oh yeah, Devontae Adams. Why are you wearing his jersey? Actually, after the game, bro was coming out of the game into the tunnel. He was frustrated about the loss. He pushed the guy. There's a camera guy. He was just standing there. He pushed him. The camera guy's like, "Oh, I had to go to the hospital," and then he fined Devontae. Which, I mean, that guy, props to him.
I would do the same thing.
Exactly.
I mean, I don't honestly know to his extent of the injury that he actually.
He was lightly pushed.
Injuries. Maybe he did. I don't know. I don't know that off the top of my hand. I'm not him. I'm not his doctors.
Yeah, but still, it's an NFL player.
You would. Because that was really uncalled for what he did.
Yeah.
I mean, it was not. I don't think. I think it was in the heat of the moment, and he did that, and I think he regrets it dearly. But you can't be doing that. The NFL has a certain image they like to portray, and that was not a good image, and certainly not a good image for him. Yeah. I mean, everybody loved Devontae Adams. No problems with him at all. I mean. But as soon as he becomes a Raider, whoa, this happens.
That's what happens.
As the Raider conspiracy, but I mean, you can't do that if you're that high in a spotlight like that. I know you suffered a tough loss. You gotta deal with it.
Yep. Really, that's all the major news we have besides Tua. He's doing better. I don't think he's gonna play this coming up week, but he's gonna play the week after. And Micah Parsons, he was questionable with the groin injury. He will play Sunday versus the Eagles. Do you also want to talk about the Ron Rivera drama yesterday?
I'll have you talk about that. Do you wanna?
Yeah, I gotta find the video again, but I remember he was like, there was a interview. They asked him, how do you feel about quarterbacks and stuff. He's like, I didn't pick the quarterback. And then in an interview after, he was like, I went to Indy. I looked at Carson Wentz. He was the guy. He was like pretty much throwing shade at his own team. So I think that the ownership of that Washington team and pretty much everything else going on there with Dan Schneider and Ron Rivera, there's going to be some big changes in the offseason, maybe a new stadium. But that team's really going downhill.
Yeah, definitely. But Dan Schneider news too. He was in the news recently too. He's apparently got blackmail on all of the 32 NFL owners. That's why he's staying in. I mean, he's got to have something on him on all those owners because there's no way that he is not kicked out yet because of that. But yeah, Washington, they're a little bit of a mess right now, but they got to win. Hey, and when you win, you win.
Yep.
That's simple like that. I mean, I can't really say much about Ron Rivera. I know he's a very emotional guy, but you know what? Let's just head into our next segment now. You want to do a hot take on the spot?
Yep, we're changing this one up a bit. We're going to do, instead of having our hot takes, usually we have them planned out. This time we're going to do hot takes on the spot. So we're each going to come up with 3 of them. We're going to switch off, and then, yeah. All right, do you want to start?
Do you have one right now? Because I'm looking at the scores of the last week game.
Yeah, I'll say it right here. Let me look real quick. All right, this is one of my hot takes. It's pretty obvious now, but I think the NFL refs need to let up on penalty calls. There's been some calls like there was yesterday. Kyler Gordon perfectly blocked and covered reception, and they called PI on it. I get it was close, maybe a little bit of touching the jersey or whatever, but it was nothing like serious. If he's not pulling him off the route, it shouldn't be called. Same thing with the Falcons and Tom Brady getting sacked. They called that. But I think the refs need to lighten up on penalties a little bit.
Okay, I agree with that. I agree with that a lot. They do need to, especially the roughing the passer calls. One of the hot takes that I just meticulated in my head. The 49ers, they are going to represent the NFC in the Super Bowl, and hear me out here. They've had a lot of injuries so far, and that team is filled with so much talent and so much depth right now that they're able to win games without that. When they come back healthy, they will be phenomenal. Jimmy Garoppolo has shown he can bring a team to a Super Bowl. He's done it before. That team is very good, and the NFC is wide open. I don't think the Eagles are as real as we think. Who knows about the Dallas Cowboys?
Not the Rams.
Not the Rams.
Yeah.
Tom Brady is looking like he's getting back going, but really, that team's not as good as it could be. The 49ers right now look very, very good, and I would not be surprised if we see the 49ers represent the NFC in the Super Bowl.
Yep, the very balanced team, too. Their defense is phenomenal. Another hot take is the Patriots are going to have a quarterback dilemma with Bailey Zapp coming in and actually performing, and Mac Jones being so young in his second year. So we'll have to see where that goes.
I don't really agree much with that, just because of I don't really like that take because you drafted Mac Jones. I think Mac Jones will be the guy. Bailey Zappi is just there, but we've seen it happen before with Bill Belichick, and he's paid a quarterback. And it doesn't matter if you're a high-paid quarterback. Doesn't matter if you're a high-drafted quarterback. He'll bench you. He did that with Tom Brady as well. Bringing in Tom Brady as the 7th-round draft pick and benching Drew Bledsoe, which I believe was a 1st-round draft pick. So, I mean, he's done that before. So, I mean, I can see where you're coming from. But I think the NFL has changed a little bit in that aspect, and I like it. But, you know, I think I'll pump the brakes on that one a little bit. I'm going to go with a little bit. I'm going to go with the AFC right now. Lamar Jackson is a underdog, is a sleeper pick for the MVP.
Yeah.
He's looked very, very good so far. Over 1,000 yards passing, 12 touchdowns, and he's got on the ground. He's got 49 carries for 374 yards and 2 touchdowns. He looks very good. That offense looks very good. It's always high scoring there, and I say if he gets Baltimore some more wins, I could definitely see the case for Baltimore making it far, and I also see the case for Lamar Jackson making an MVP candidate. Of course, he's gonna have to beat out Josh Allen, which I think would be a fair fought battle. But I like that take though.
Then, yeah, could we see a rematch of the 2012 Super Bowl, the Niners and Ravens again?
Oh, that would be interesting.
Yeah.
Do you have a hot take, or I can go?
I will
I
say,
can go
I'll say my final one. I think the Eagles are a fake team. Their
I
schedule,
actually said that before.
yeah, you said that also, but I'm just gonna elaborate on it. I mean, they beat the Cardinals. Cardinals aren't fantastic. They've had an easy schedule. They have an easy schedule coming up. Once it comes to the playoffs and they play these harder teams, things are gonna get tough for them. They really haven't had many major injuries yet, so we'll see where that goes. But I think they're a fake team as of now.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of agree with that. I'm going to go to a team that has kind of been struggling, but I think we'll see some better performances, and I think they'll see a win this Sunday. I'm going to go with Geno Smith is a real deal in Seattle. My opinion, he is the cream of the crop, and some quarterbacks right now don't we all write him off after the first 3 years. Well, as Geno Smith said, well, I didn't write back. This guy has a high motor, high driven. He's a very good player, and I think he went he did some stuff this offseason. I don't know what he did, but he looks very good, and he looks very good right now. And I think that if they can keep up that offensive pace, they have some good players on offense. Kenneth Walker is very good, a rookie running back They have Tyler Lockett. They have DK Metcalf. I think they got some good guys, and of course you got Noah Fant at tight end. So you got some guys there. And as long as the offensive line and the defense stays a little bit healthy, I think if the defense takes a step up a little bit more, I think you could definitely see them as a playoff team. And I don't think that's an understatement. But the defense has to get a little bit better first. I think just their scheme that they're running, I think they would do better in a more man type scheme. They're doing like zone drives. I don't know. It hasn't been working well for them. I think they need to change it up a little bit on the defensive side, but I don't know. I'm not a coach, but I pretend to be a coach like this. But I definitely see Geno Smith having a great rest of the season. I think the Seahawks can make it far.
Yeah, they have actually showed up. But do you have any more hot takes? Because I am.
That's my last
Okay.
hot take. I think that was three right there. Let's hit into a segment that we had before. Now we're bringing it back. Let's go to Instagram reacts. Do
All
you
right.
want to
Yep.
head into the first one
If
there
you guys
that we have?
if you guys aren't familiar with our channel, what we do with Instagram reactions, we'll pop up the image over here, and then we'll pop up the post from Instagram over there, and then we'll react to it, and we'll see where that goes. All right. This one really stood out to me. Using ball tracking data, Justin Tucker's game-winning field goal crossed the upright with the Y coordinate. With the field 26.52, that's the exact middle of the field is 26.67. That is if the uprights were half a yard wide, the kick would still be good. That's why
I mean,
if Justin
that's
Tucker lives to play as long as Adam Vinatieri, or if he plays as long as Adam Vinatieri did, he'll be the greatest kicker of all time.
I don't think he has to play as long as Adam Vinatieri to be a very good. I mean, he's already, in my opinion, maybe top two kickers of all
Yeah.
time. Adam Vinatieri is obviously number one in my opinion, but Justin Tucker looks very, very, very good. Um, and I think he's played good enough to deserve a hater, man. He's
Yeah.
played good enough to get some haters on him. So I think he's very good, and I think it's crazy that if it was a half half a yard, right? Half a
Half a
yard, that
yard.
it still would have been good.
Yeah.
That is very, very good. I mean, congratulations to Justin Tucker on his crazy, crazy, crazy methods. But let's go into the next Instagram reacts that I have from WTF football. It was Justin Fields has been pressured 46% of his dropbacks this season, the highest rate of pressure a QB has faced in the first 6 games of the season since ESPN has been tracking pressures in 2009. What do you get from this?
Terrible O-line. We don't have anyone on the O-line. Rebuild.
Yeah, they don't really have anyone on the offensive line, and I'm tired of talking about this offensive line because it's very, very, very bad. But it is crazy how much Fields is getting pressured, and I mean, I don't know. Fields is breaking down right now. He got hurt a lot of times yesterday, so who knows? Who knows going forward? Kirk Cousins has thrown a touchdown pass in 35 consecutive games. That is the longest streak in the NFL. Do you want to do us a little gritty there, Andrew? You want to give me a Kirk Cousins? Give me your best Kirk Cousins.
Okay,
gritty.
okay.
Give me a Kirk Cousins gritty. Give me Kirk Cousins gritty. Hey. That's the Kirk Cousins gritty right there. Kirk Cousins is honestly had some great performances in the past couple weeks, especially against the Bears last week. He played very good. He played a lights out. I mean, yep. I liked how he played. He was very consistent with the ball. I mean, the Bears stink, but I mean, a win's a win, and Kirk Cousins, as long as he's not playing a primetime game, he looks pretty good. What are your thoughts on Kirk Cousins' 35 consecutive
Yeah, I mean, Kirk has gotten a lot of hate. I know from me specifically, but respect to him, he's putting it together. And, yeah, I mean, 35 consecutive games, that's a lot. Want to move on to the last one?
Move on to our last Instagram react of the day. It's kind of a funny one. We're pull up a screen here. A meme every time the camera cuts back to Justin Fields on a Thursday Night Football. It's pretty accurate. I'm pretty sure I saw Justin Fields in that exact position yesterday. Yesterday's game. Yeah, I mean, that offensive line needs a lot of help for the Bears. So I don't know what the Bears need to do this offseason, but they need to do something because that offensive line is very, very bad.
Yep.
Let's go into our weekly predictions. Why don't we?
Yep. Let me go over. I'll go over last week. So I won 3-2. Really, what
were the games?
What I beat you on?
Got over me.
I picked Giants over Packers.
Yeah.
Which was a ballsy pick. You won Bears Vikings. I won Seahawks Saints. You won Dolphins Jets. Because you picked the Jets. And Raiders Chiefs. I won that one. So that's the big ones I beat you over. But,
yeah. I could have won. If the Raiders pulled it out, I would have won this week.
Yeah.
I mean, it's very close. We're very close in picking games. So hopefully we'll keep that the same this week. It always usually comes down to a couple of certain games. Let's start off with the San Francisco at Atlanta, the noon game on Fox. Who do you have in this game? Should be no problem.
San Francisco, Atlanta. I'm going to have to say San Francisco in this one. They look phenomenal.
I'm going to have to say San Francisco. Even though I like Atlanta and I like what they're doing, I think they're overachieving right now as a team. I like what Marcus Mariota is doing. But I don't know. I like the San Francisco 49ers team that got depth in all positions. I think they're just a more talented team than Atlanta right now. I think Atlanta's building something. I think they're building something very good with their rookie wide receiver, Drake London. Who knows? I don't think Cordell Patterson is playing this game. Kyle Pitts is questionable. Actually, Cordell Patterson might be off the IR. I don't know exactly. Don't quote me on that. But 49ers got some injuries, but they've been able to fill them out very well. So who knows? I'm going to take the 49ers in this one. I like what you think there in the 49ers, so I'm going to take them as well. Heading to New England at Cleveland, at 12 p.m. game on CBS. Who do you have in this one? This one might be a very interesting game.
Yeah, this one could go either way. Do you want to pick first? I'll pick what you don't pick.
I'm going to pick the Browns in this one. I like the Browns at home. I know they're 1-2 at home, but the Patriots are 1-2 in away. They're a 74% chance of winning this game. I think that's because the home field advantage, the dog pound, and all that. But I think Jacoby Brissett has looked decent, and I think Cleveland could get to Bailey Zappi. I think they got some pass rush, and I like their running game, and I think that they keep the ball on the ground with Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt. I think they'll win the game. I mean, Myles Garrett is questionable. Jadeveon Clowney is out. Denzel Ward's out. They got some guys banged up, but they just got Deion Jones as a trade, so I think that's very good. I like Cleveland in this one. I like them at home. I'm gonna have them win in this game.
Yeah, really, I don't know yet if Mac Jones is going to be back or not, but I think this game could go either way. Patriots could show up like they did last week, or 2 weeks ago or whenever they almost beat the Packers, and we'll see what happens there. All right, let's move on to the next game. We get Jets and Packers.
Jets Packers, baby. Who do you got
Packers,
in this one?
as a Bears fan, this is my signature thing. I'm going to say the Jets. But the Packers have looked sloppy the last 2 weeks. They played the Patriots, just barely beat them. Lost to the Giants last week. I get it's London, new country, and stuff like that. But I'm going to the Jets on this one.
They always win very ugly. It seems like the Packers do a little bit.
Yeah.
Never looked very good. Never really good in the second half. This team scares me a lot to pick the Green Bay Packers. I'm going high and fly with the New York Jets. I like your call on this one. The New York Jets are gonna win this game. I think they're gonna surprise people like they did last week, and I picked them last week. Jermaine Johnson's out, but I think this team's flying with some momentum. I really like it. I don't think Green Bay can score second half points. I don't like their play calling, and I don't like just the way they've prepared their past weeks. I'm gonna go with New York. I think New York will get the upset here, and I like that call.
Back to back New York teams beating the Packers.
I
to see it.
I never thought I'd see the day where we both picked the Jets, but here we are.
Yeah, against the Packers, but Aaron Rodgers hasn't showed up this year, so
Jacksonville at Indianapolis. I'm going to say something here. I'm going with Jacksonville in this one.
yeah, I'd see where you're coming from. Colts looked very sloppy in the last week, but this game could go either way. Colts have that home field advantage. They have that momentum. They don't really have much momentum coming off of their last game, but I'm going to say the Colts in this one because we saw what the Jags did last week. They lost in a blowout to the Texans. So they're a team that they show up, but I'm going to say the Colts in this one. This could go either way.
He's going to say the Colts in this one. Indianapolis Colts have 69 points for and 94 points against. Jacksonville 111 points for and 80 points against. Last time these two teams played, Jacksonville shut out Indianapolis at home. Let's see if it's a little bit different in Lucas Oil. I think it may be. But I'm going to stick with Jacksonville in this one. Heading to Minnesota against Miami. At Miami, who do you have in this one?
Tua's not playing. Teddy's not playing, I believe. So I'm going to have to say the Vikings in this. You got me on that last week. You're like, okay, the Dolphins are an injured team right now. The Jets are going to beat them, and they did. So I'm going to say the Vikings in this one.
I'm agreeing with you in the Vikings. I like the Vikings, how they're coming out. I think Miami's defense is very good, but I think they can only keep them in there for so long because their quarterback situation. If Teddy Bridgewater was maybe playing this game and I knew he was going to be a little bit more healthy, I may have maybe considered the Miami Dolphins. But I'm going with Minnesota in this one. A 4-1 Minnesota team, I think, is about to be a 5-1 Minnesota team. They gave me a little scare last week, almost losing to the Bears. Well, I mean, I was happy that the Bears almost came back to win, but this team, it's very hard to predict the NFC North right now. But I think the Vikings could definitely become a front runner, and I think they'll win this game against Miami. Let's go to Cincinnati at New Orleans. Cincinnati traveling to New Orleans in the Mercedes-Benz Superdome. You know it's going to be loud. Who do you have in this one?
I'm going to have to say the Bengals. The Bengals have looked better to me in this season, but I won't be surprised if the Saints put up a fight.
Saints coming in very, very injured. Chris Olave questionable. Jameis Winston's questionable. Jameis Winston might come back to play this game, so who knows? Michael Thomas questionable. Don't know if he's going to play. Jarvis Landry is questionable. Taysom Hill's had a very good run in the Superdome. Give me the New Orleans Saints in this one. I like New Orleans. Hey, I know they're banged up and everything like that, but Cincinnati has shown that at times their inability to beat opponents that they should beat. So I think New Orleans can sneak one by, and especially at home, that's a big home field advantage right there. I think they get things going with Alvin Kamara and I like how New Orleans is going. So I'm gonna go with New Orleans in this one. Maybe get Taysom Hill going, and
Hmm.
hopefully they get a win there. Let's head to Baltimore at New York. The 4-1 New York Giants. They're 4-1 right now. Do you believe in them? Are you gonna take them, Andrew?
They're rolling, but not against the Ravens. I'm gonna say the Ravens in this one.
I agree with you. The Giants, in my opinion, have not proven that they're a real deal. People think it's the same Packers team as last year. It was in London too. I don't like the Giants. I think Daniel Jones just has that ability to flip the switch and throw like 3 interceptions. I like Baltimore in this one. I trust Lamar Jackson a lot more than I do Daniel Jones. I don't know if the Giants are as real deal as much. I mean, if they beat Baltimore, I think you could say they're a real deal. I like Saquon a lot, but I'm gonna have to go with you. I'm gonna have to go with Baltimore. Let's head into the next
We
game.
could probably
Tampa Bay traveling to the terrible Towels. Uh,
quickly pick these next two because they're pretty simple on who would win. So we get Bucks Steelers. Steelers haven't shown anything special this week, so I'm taking Bucks.
yeah, I'm taking Bucks as well. Kenny Pickett. I'm hoping to see some improvement from him. Maybe he can get something going. But questionable Minka Fitzpatrick. Um, there's a couple guys questionable on both sides. Akeem Hicks is out for the Buccaneers. So I like Tampa Bay in this one and Carolina at the Rams. Who do you think is going to win this one? Do you think a team coming off of firing their head coach is invigorated? They're ready to win and
No,
they beat the LA Rams?
no, the Panthers are terrible. They're starting a third string quarterback, so I'm gonna say the Rams in this one.
I'm trying to get you to take the Panthers, but I'm not taking the Panthers as well. I like the Los Angeles Rams in this one. The Rams have slipped up a bit. The Super Bowl champion Rams have slipped up, but I definitely think the Panthers aren't very good. So I'm gonna go with the Los Angeles Rams. I'm gonna head into the next game, Arizona at Seattle. I'll pick the first one. I'm gonna pick Seattle in this one. You
Yeah,
all know I was gonna pick Seattle. They've looked very, very good, and I know coming off their last outing, it was a loss against the New Orleans Saints, but it was a high scoring loss of 32 points they scored in that game. I think Geno Smith fires it up. He fires up the boys in Arizona in at home, so you know it's gonna be loud for them. And I think they'll fire up a win.
yeah, it's gonna be close, but I'm taking the Cardinals in this one.
Yeah, you're taking the Cardinals. You better not hope it's a double XP weekend for Call of Duty, or else
It is.
you should have looked that up. Is it?
I don't know.
Is it actually?
It probably is.
Well, I looked that up because he's like 23-1 when it's double XP weekends. Just saying.
All right,
Like he's very bad.
let's move on to the next. We got Bills and Chiefs.
The Buffalo Bills playing the Kansas City Chiefs. This is a big boy
Matchup of the
matchup.
week.
I'm going with the Bills in this one. That's what I'm going
Yeah.
with. Who are you going with?
I would say the Bills in this, but I'm gonna do this so I could get it over you if the Chiefs win. But I'm gonna say the Chiefs in this one. Bills look like way more of a solid team though, but I have to say the Chiefs.
It could go either way. I really don't know with this game. I'm just thinking if this game gets into a shootout, I like the Buffalo Bills weapons a lot more than I like Kansas City. Kansas City's got Travis Kelsey, but besides Travis Kelsey, who do they got?
No one. Yeah.
Exactly. I like Gabriel Davis on Buffalo, and I like Stephon Diggs. Isaiah McKenzie's coming back. They got some weapons there. And I know Josh Allen will be fired up, and especially since his heartbreaking loss is there, that he wants to come back there and win first time. I think, yeah, Buffalo's gaining 2.5 points, so there.
Yeah.
So people seem to be betting on Buffalo there. Let's head to the last game, the Sunday night football game, and then we'll head into the Monday. But the Sunday night football game, Dallas heading to Philadelphia. Who do you have in this one?
This is gonna be the Eagles' true test. Dallas has been rolling with Cooper Rush. It's gonna be the Eagles' true test to see if they are the real deal. But I'm gonna say the Cowboys in this. This is gonna be the end of the Eagles' undefeated era.
Dang, I was gonna choose the Cowboys.
Think the
But-
Eagles are gonna keep rolling?
They're not going to keep rolling. I don't see that they keep rolling. Well, I don't know. Micah Parsons questionable. If he plays, I think Dallas wins. But if they don't, I think it leaves a huge gap for Philadelphia to maybe get some.
Yep.
Since you went with Dallas, I'll go with Philadelphia. I'm not very confident with it, but I'm gonna go with Philadelphia in this one. Hey, they've looked very good. Let's see if they can get it done against the Cowboys. This will be actually a decent game on Sunday night that they have here. Let's head into the Monday Night Football matchup: Denver at Los Angeles. Who do you have in this one? I think I know where you're going because I know I'm not going Broncos, and I know you're not going Broncos. Correct?
Yes. I'm just gonna say this: NFL, stop giving Broncos primetime matchups.
Well, they thought they were going to be good this year, and it's
No.
a little bit of a shame because of they can't flex the games. They can only flex later in the season games when they know which matchups will be good. There's no
Yeah.
way that they can flex it out of this, but yeah, who knows?
All right, and then a few notable teams on bye week this week. We're doing it our first week of bye week. We got Lions, Titans, Raiders, and Texans all in a bye week.
Yeah.
And I think this wraps up this episode of the Anytime Sports Podcast.
If you enjoyed, please leave a like, and we'll see you all later, guys.
Peace.
I like those colors.